Hi everyone, good morning. Yeah, we're live. Thank you so much for your support. So we're just going to be prospecting together this week, today. And let me just say something. Today I was supposed to do like student travel, and then tomorrow was supposed to be for like gap year travel. So I now that I'm thinking about sharing this, I was thinking to myself that could it be that I'm not using the right keywords? But I guess I have. Anywho, I'm not finding like quality gap year students group. I'm not finding quality student travel groups, right? And maybe because well, that's a niche. Gap year, gap year is actually a niche. It's a thing actually. So I mean, yeah, basically, I'm not finding those groups. Not like I'm not finding them totally. I find them, but it's not active because guess what? If somebody were to be a gap year student, after their gap year, they're back to school. And some of them are not traveling because they are not like an avid traveler. They just have that 1 year. They're trying to like figure out themselves. And for student travel, I was just um what's that word? It's not lucky, but something like that. Lucky enough to like find them in general groups. So while I'm not scraping that out of my list, for today that I'm supposed to focus on like student travel, I've used another group called I Need a Travel Buddy. And I realized that I'm seeing like a mixture of students, grown-ups. That's actually grown-ups. I mean like folks in their late 30s and 40s on that platform too. Yeah, that's about it. And I already scripted in the contacts because obviously I only wake up earlier to do the work. But we're just like going to go through the Facebook together now and then, just keep scraping more contacts. And then something that's been happening to me the past couple of days is selective neglecting. I think that's it. So the fact that I have lots of people like it was just this morning I mistakenly clicked actually. I had like over 40 notifications from folks on Facebook that are commenting under their posts, people asking for a link, people saying, "Oh, Esther, I'd like to know." And then I just felt helpless because I've generated all of this interest, but I don't have anything yet to show for it. So I think that what I'll really even be doing this morning is I'm going to be trying to then go through every message, try to like respond to them, and we'll see if we have some time on the live session to still go to prospecting on those Facebook groups. If not, I've done like the prospecting work for today before coming online. I just wanted to like do a bit more, before us. Okay, so uh, I don't know why it didn't occur to me to mention this, but we've had some delay with our product. So what that means is that the first phase that should be operational will not be launching this week again. Because I've constantly said, oh, end of October, yada yada yada, will be live, and there was an issue with the initial UX UI wireframe. I didn't approve it because it didn't basically capture what I had given. So yeah, and they just had to like start all over again with the structure some 2 weeks ago. And yeah, that's it. So what that means is that launch has been postponed to like the coming month. That's November. Then my condolence to the families of those that were involved in the Mombasa aircraft accident. I did see the news, but when I saw it yesterday night, um, it didn't click to me that they were talking about like safari tourists. Or they just said tourists. I'm like, okay, maybe they were like research folks, maybe they were environmentalists, just like looking at the environment. And then I remember that somebody had messaged me around 11 or past 11, and I was like, oh, okay. And it was one of our travel advisors, and she had asked that, Esther, what went wrong with Mombasa aircraft? And then I'm like, oh, I didn't, it was just then I began to connect the dots. So if you work in the travel and tourism industry, I believe you must have heard of this already. An aircraft crashed yesterday. What? Yesterday was 28. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He had like 11, 10 tourists on board. 8 of them were Hungarians and 2 of them were German folks. And one was okay, yeah, the pilot, because the pilot too died. So I have my thoughts. I'm just going to share my thoughts. I'm going to share my thoughts. What's that word? As somebody that is building a structure for safety with Zago tours. As a matter of fact, as I woke up, folks in my travel community, that's what we've been talking about as travel suppliers and travel advisors. And I kept saying it to them that, can you guys see what we're building safety into the work that we're doing? Whether we like it or not, this is really needed, right? So, and then again, I began to like dig into the history of that aircraft. And okay, first off, let's just say this: I love adventure movies. I watch adventure movies a lot. Those ones where they're talking about Air Force 4, where they're talking about marine combat, marine security, all of those things where there's so much shooting and all of that. Those are the kind of movies that I watch. And then so what that has also helped me to do is kind of like study aircrafts, kind of study the structure of aircraft, how they work, which ones are deployed for war, which ones cockpit, just those terminologies. And I'm going to speak as someone that's trying to correct the system and not blame the system based on facts that I've seen actually. So the weather was terrible yesterday, right? I'm assuming it happened yesterday because it's crazy to assume actually. I think it happened yesterday. Yeah, 28th. Yeah. So the weather was bad yesterday, and then the aircraft lost communication with the control room 10 minutes after they had taken off. So while I understand that, okay, this might even be the only thing I'll talk about on this last session because I'm like 6 minutes in. While I understand that travelers sometimes will always pressure you, um, because they have hotel bookings, they have flights bookings, and all of that. They have all of those things and they're going to pressure you. But I would always say it: whatever has happened yesterday, it was not worth the cost and the risk at all. We're talking about 11 people dead. We're talking about 11 people with families. We're talking about 11 people that could have lived. And so that's why with Zago Tours, I made it a point of duty that we're not going to be doing indemnity forms. I know it's crazy. I know that will probably get criticized for so many things when we eventually kick off. And, when I say kick off, I mean kick off our platform and all of that. What you're signing with us really is not necessarily an indemnity form, it's a safety release form. What that means is that if our tour operator tells you, oh, this weather is not safe today, we won't be able to take you, you do not have the right to say you can't go. If you say you want to go and whatever, we're just going to like issue you a refund, or we issue you a refund on based on what you've spent with us, and this is the refund that you're like liable to. We love you, but we're trying to change something here, and beyond all of the adventures and all of it, your life matters to us most. So I feel like yes, the pilot and the tour company would have experienced that. So and maybe the pressure, they succumbed to the pressure and still decided to go ahead, even though there was thick mist and the weather was terrible. This is not the first time weather is causing catastrophic issues or circumstances. It has happened in Costa Rica, it has happened many times in the Philippines, several places all over the world anyway. Then the second thing is the aircraft itself. Based on fact, I kept thinking to myself, why did the aircraft lose communication? The problem is that, and I keep saying this, there's a problem in the travel and tourism industry. It's called over commercialization. It's the same thing that's also happening with sustainable travel, where sustainable travel is sustainability is not told as a story from an empathetic place. It's told from a I want to benefit a transactional perspective and no longer a transformative perspective. When it started, it was transformational. But as we continue to go, one way in between, the focus just got really diluted. And those things are annoying actually. So if you knew as an aircraft, you are not um you don't have the system to move when the weather is terrible. That means that, first of all, as a company, I think that there's a quality control problem because as a company, you should be aware of what your flight can do and what it cannot do. I was watching like an aircraft documentary, and a pilot was addressing the people in the plane, and how I kind of heard the story, and the pilot was like, yes, the weather is terrible, but be rest assured that we're going to land because there are only two, I think there are only two air companies in the world, aircraft companies in the world that are certified, according to the pilot and according to the story, that are certified to move in this kind of weather. Be rest assured that when we land at the airport, our aircraft is going to be the only one there. The others cannot fly under this circumstance. Do you understand? So, as a company, you must, there's nothing like you have to, you must be aware of the things that you have, how far they can go, and according to that, that's how you should deal with circumstances. So if your aircraft was bad or you think it cannot move in such weather, do not bother moving, regardless of what it will cost you. That's one. Because if they're still doing investigations and all of that, because if the investigation eventually comes out and they figure out that it's the aircraft that is at fault, that's crazy. Because if the family of the victims decides to sue, well, they signed an indemnity form, they cannot sue. But they are actually in their right to sue because Craig Manders sued the tour company and the case is still in court. The problem is just this indemnity form. I think that has to be restructured, by the way. And then there's also another case of what if the pilot is not trained enough for cases like this. So I saw something, a report somewhere. A Tunisian woman had gone on, is this skydiving? Yeah, one of those. If it's not sky, I think it's skydiving trip in Tunisia, and then she had said that um, she had felt that the body of the tour guide. How will I put this? Anyways, she had just said that she says that the guy was sexually active at the time that the guy was holding her, and then she was like charging the guy. Now I do not know the facts of the case because I don't know if those accusations are real or they're not. But I'm just trying to compare something, right? Which is how professionals show up at work when it comes to travel and tourism space, and how people who are just learning the ropes of the work show up, right? So let's just assume that that is true in this sense, because the company eventually didn't come out to even say the facts of the case. The only thing I heard was the guy has been charged, and we don't know what the company is going to say to even save themselves. We don't know if it's true or it's not true. And I'm saying that to say that, in as much as an amateur may appear as somebody that can get the work done, this is not just something that you just crash into or you try to do in a rush. This is like the work of a professional and all of that. And personally, I want to believe that Mombasa aircraft has been in operation for a while. And so what that means is that they most likely have even, put a professional at the forefront of that trip, especially because there are lots of people in the flight, right? Usually some air safari around 5 people, 4 people. I haven't seen air safari of like just 2 folks. So if there are 10 in that flight, they must have put their best in it. So I am thinking it's just probably an aircraft problem. But if you knew that your aircraft cannot fly under such conditions, why did you do it? The problem is, honestly, I always say this. I envision a day where somebody's going to travel with us and then they're going to say, "Oh, we cancel their trip last minute," or "Well, we won't cancel last minute." You'll be informed already because before you even travel with us, you'd have seen it in the phone. If the weather is bad, you might have to stay. Of course, that would mean extra cost on you, but it would never have been worth your life at the end of the day. The problem is that we're always considering the journey. We're not looking at the outcome. Adventure in itself is not life. It's a part of life. In fact, it's a fraction of life. Because what's the max you're going to spend on an adventure tour? Maybe 10 days, 20 days. You probably have 50 years ahead of you. Yeah, so that's it. That's my thoughts. Okay, that was a long-winded frustration plus my thoughts was honestly because it's very annoying. What is this? I have so many notifications, so I'm going to move down each of them. And yes, please, let's not just let people do what they want to do. The reason why you're the expert is because they don't know what to do. If they knew what to do, they wouldn't be buying from you. And so, as tour operators, we must first of all not just stand as somebody who wants to make trips fun for people, but like people who is like making them safe while on that trip too, right? I fingers crossed. I'm waiting for what Mombasa aircraft will say to this. Honestly, I really want to see what they will say because it's tragic. Yeah, this is one of the folks I was going to send my king to this thing, our platform, whatever to. Yeah. Okay, these folks that are actually following me are folks from those communities. And I'm supposed to like talk to them. Absolutely, I will. Thanks. Did I copy your profile? Yes, I did. Can I send a friend request? Let's see. I met in one of those return normal groups. Okay. What did she say? So happy and you dance and sing the word again. Sounds great. Feel free to send me a message and chat. I think I don't know. I think I've maxed my what's it called for today? My messages. Because I was sending messages earlier. How are you today? It's just crazy. Like 10? Oh, how are you today? Trying to know your post. And I liked your where you shared your eating journey. And I also feel like we have to place priority on like quality assurance as an industry. If the adventure tourism industry continues like this, in the years ahead, we're going to have an outburst of people protesting and people specifically just canceling not just tour companies, but canceling specific countries because of the risk they pose to tourists. Oh, let me message this person now. Yeah, he's online. Cool. So as this, so am I sharing my screen? Oh, not yet. How are you today? I've suddenly become very careful with YouTube because I don't think I can handle them removing one of my other videos. But anyways, this is social media, so there's nothing private about it. It's public information. You're doing a great work with the mountain lovers community. I was hoping our company could learn a bit more about what you're building, no, about what you're working on, and what's next. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I have so many posts I've not responded to. Oh, I told him I was going to be in touch with him. Okay, so let me just quickly go to his DM. Oh, we're friends. Cool. Hello, Mansa. So I think he loved why I sent this friend request to respond. How are you today? I wanted to learn more about what you do. I wanted to learn more about. So I think this guy is doing an amazing job. And when you talk about unsung heroes, I feel like this guy is one of those folks. It just goes to like actors in Pakistan. I think the one's closest to him, anyways. And then it goes about picking the trash with awareness, man. And I think that is so cool. Mm, okay. The hell? Why is this screen splitting? Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll be sure to send an exclusive invite the moment we go live. I've not had time to even go to my group, mention things, say stuff like I used to. So actually have a community of 5,000, over 5,000 travel agents and tour operators. Mm. So all these folks, I'm supposed to send them a DM, like Luke, Omahone, Ara Era, and the likes. Mm. Thank you. We'll send you an exclusive invite as soon as we go live. I think I'm somewhat like, you know, I think I've formed an habit of showing up live and such a way that I'm even thinking to myself that, okay, when a product goes live and then we've started to build our community, I'm going to maybe take out time to record a series on YouTube on how I'm then turning that community currency into conversion. Well, that should be sometime in December. I mean, if we're past the 100 days, I know so. but I believe it should be during the 100 days. Now I don't even have a confirmed date on when we're going to be going live for the product. And that I just thought to reach out to the person this morning to say I'm going to need timelines, honestly. Okay, I think we're all caught up. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's live session. Please, as a traveler, when you're traveling, don't just travel because you're excited. Don't travel because adventures are thrilling. I need you to start asking people the right questions, right? If you're traveling, I know you go online to look at the seasons, right? So after saying that maybe it's good to go to a place in June to July and say that you're going mountain climbing, can you ask them, have you ever had like seasons between that June to July where they're like hailstorms, right? In the past, it doesn't have to be now. My first degree is in geology, right? And then there's a structural there's a part of geology, but there's a structural quote that we usually say that has to do with formations of rocks and beddings. And it says that the past is the key to the future. It's a very, I can, go on live session, so I don't think I would go and Google that up. But I'm trying to remember the name now. I can't remember the name, but it's just, I can't remember who postulated that theory, but something in geology. So if it has happened before, right? It may most likely happen again. And that's why even when I'm interviewing tour operators before onboarding them, because I'm always having these interviews, I ask them, have you ever had cases where something had happened to somebody? What did you do? Have operations gone wrong? It's impossible for operations not to have gone wrong if you've been in the business long enough. 5 years, okay. But 10 years, a decade and maybe 5 more years, something has definitely gone wrong. It might not just be fatal. And so we need to start asking the right questions, honestly. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's session. Let's keep spreading the word about safety. Safety is possible, safety is attainable, right? Yes. The first adventure death was in the 1800, right? And of course, that was just trials, like scientific trials, to even see if the things that it made to make adventure safe, trustworthy. And so I'm very big on the sacrifice of people that have gone ahead of us. Let's try to now start to keep making it worth it. Thank you so much. So many technological advances, we can be safe, absolutely we can. And yeah, we're going to keep advocating for state safety in adventure tourism. It's not just a must, it's a right, because under the human rights I believe that there's something to like right to life. Thank you.